Hi everyone, my name's James from the YouTube channel Plumber Parts, and I'm here today with Plum World to tell you about shower trays and shower enclosures, configurations, materials, sizes, glass thicknesses, and address some of the questions that you send in at Plum World. Also, at the end of this video, I'll be showing you my very own ensuite because I think it's a really good way of describing how we can use shower enclosures to make a bathroom or an ensuite flow better. Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, eat your heart out. So we're going to start from the ground up and do shower trays first, and then we're going to talk about enclosures. Now, as you can look along here, we've got some beautiful shower trays here that you can currently get at the time of recording on the Plum World website. These are all very beautiful ones. I think we've got one from Myra, we've got some from Coram, but these you're going to be able to find on the Plum World website at the time of recording. The first thing I want to talk about are the different configurations and what they can do when it comes to the design of your bathroom, the design of your ensuite. The first thing that we've got here is a quadrant shower tray. Now, a quadrant shower tray, as we can see, goes into the corner. They always go into the corner, but we always have a swept elliptical piece here, this curved bit off here, and that's what makes it a quadrant. The good thing about quadrant shower trays is once you've got the enclosure up, and we'll be looking at the enclosure on this one in a few minutes' time, is imagine you're walking into a bathroom. If there was a corner here sticking out that's going to block your path through. So we often use, as plumbers, we often use quadrants as a way to give a bathroom better flow, to make it work better. But we can also get left hand and right hand quadrants. That's when we have, say, a shower tray like this, but one of the corners here is a quadrant, or the other. I'm putting up a diagram now as to how almost every manufacturer does their left hand and right hand quadrant design. When you've picked your shower tray, when you've watched this video and you've figured out what you want, always make sure with that particular manufacturer that that is the left hand and that is the right hand, and that's what they mean. Before we move on, when it comes to sizing quadrants, if we've got a central one like this, you effectively size it like a standard square shower tray. So this is an 800 square here, we call that 800 millimeters, 80 centimeters, and that is effectively drawing out from that corner there, just down here. If we have a quick look, I'll show you. From this corner here, out to this corner here is 800 millimeters, and the same that way to that way over there, that's 800 millimeters as well. But if you've got an offset one, you're going to have to start measuring it up like a rectangular shower tray. Every time you buy a shower tray, whatever size it is or whatever design configuration it is, you're always going to get a design layout of the length and the width of the shower tray, and the height as well if you're lucky. So moving on to rectangular shower trays, and very quickly I'm going to show you how you measure out a shower tray, and this works for the quadrants as well. So we get our tape measure, and that is 80 centimeters, so 800 mil. You will never, it's very rare you'll see shower trays measured out on the books or in the spec in centimeters. They're usually in millimeters. So that's 800 by, and we'll just measure across the front like this, 1,200 millimeters. Only ever going to be in millimeters, okay? So the good thing about rectangular showers is you can have a screen like this, and you can walk into the shower like so, under the shower head, have your shower here, and there's been no movement of a door. We haven't had to slide anything or anything like that. And most of the splash is going to hit the side screen that we've got on here. You are going to find as well these days that you can get other types of shower screen that come out and block that off, but we'll cover that in a minute. Often what I will install a rectangular shower tray for is in replacement of a bath for an older customer. So you can get shower trays that are 1,700 long, 1,500 long, and I'm talking about that in millimeters. They're the standard sizes that we have. So you can take a whole bath out and put a nice shower tray in, and that makes it easier for an elderly customer to use it in general because they don't have to step over into a bath. You can then put a seat in there, all that sort of stuff. So rectangular shower trays are really, really handy for that. And moving on from that, we've got another rectangular one here, just showing that you can get them in loads of different shapes. There are so many different shapes and sizes that you're going to be able to get to fit your space, but they always come in kind of bracketed sizes. So 750 or sometimes fine, it depends on the manufacturer, but you're always regularly going to find 800, 1000, 1200, 1500, 1700. And then if you are having a massive walk-in shower, 2,000 and up from that. I mean, at that point, you're kind of looking at wet rooms, which one day we may cover on the Plum World channel. We've also got a square one here, standard, normal, square shower tray. Pretty sure you know how to measure up one of these now. We're just going to do it out here. So look, we've got a 770 there, and it's going to be 770 back that way. So now we've looked at the different configurations, how we can measure up a shower tray to know what size it is, whether we've got a left hand or a right hand quadrant. Why don't we talk about how each shower tray lays on the floor and how that affects the installation of each shower tray. And also we'll cover very briefly the different materials you can get for shower trays as well. So we've talked about the sizes when it comes to looking at the shower tray from above, but there's another aspect that you need to think about, when I'm planning a bathroom for a customer, I'll always try and push them down a certain route that I want them to do. And you'll see why actually in my own ensuite towards the end of this video. So what we're going to look at is heights of the shower tray and the different materials that we've got that shower trays are made of. The height I like the most is a low profile shower tray. This quadrant here is a low profile one. This rectangular one is low profile, and this rectangular one is low profile. These two are actually made of a stone type resin, which means they are very, very heavy. That one especially is quite heavy. Very sturdy, easy to fit, but getting them up the stairs, and if you're worried about the structural integrity of your floor or something like that, maybe you want to consider going over to this light composite type, which is just as strong, but probably weighs 20% of one of these here. And that will take loads of weight, you know, they're totally fine to use, you know, really sturdy, very easy to install, easy to get upstairs. Your plumber's gonna love you because they're not gonna do their back in, all right? What I like about low profile is if we look at this one here, this rectangular one, is what I often do when I'm installing these in a bathroom is I will lay these down first before the tiler comes in, and then when the tiler comes in to do their tiling, we actually build up the floor level even further, so you almost get like a wet room effect with a low profile shower tray, whereas when you step in, there's hardly any step at all, like a centimetre maybe of a step depending on what you put on the floor. If you've got an elderly customer, that's even better, isn't it? Sometimes even that sort of inch up can be a bit difficult for someone who's in their 80s or 90s. So you need to think about that. Now, there are shower trays there are installations where we really can't put in a low profile shower tray, namely on ground floors where you've got a concrete base, or in flats where going into the floor is going to upset the people below you, that sort of thing. So that's when we have something like this. This is an easy plumb shower tray down here. So if you get a good look at this, you'll see that we've got 5 feet underneath. But the one thing about this is that means that if we cannot go into this floor at all, and funny enough, we are on a concrete floor here, you can then have your waste pipe above ground going back into a stack. Usually what you'll do is you'll run your waste pipe along the wall, behind the basin, behind the toilet, into the stack, and that is it, the waste pipe is done. The 5 legs that you can see under here are adjustable as well. We've actually got them wound down to pretty much the lowest height, but on this particular type here, you can adjust them at least another 50 mil. Now, one thing about Easy Plumb you can probably see is like there's a big gap there. They always get supplied with cover plates like this. This particular type locks together in the corner, like so. But then what you'll need to do is once you've actually got the installation, they leave these a little bit longer because then you can cut them back and make sure that they're exactly the right size. These particular type ones will clip on exactly the same way as the kickboard in your kitchen. Very, very similar, just a semicircular clip that will clip back onto one of these feet like so, and that's it, they're installed. I wouldn't have one of these in my home because I just don't think they look very nice. You've got a step here of 20 centimetres pretty much. You know, if you can't go into the floor, what are you going to do? Sometimes you are constricted by the installation requirements of that particular job. But that's one of those things, all right? The last thing is an upstand shower. Now, an upstand shower is effectively this shower tray here, but without the feet on. So this means that this bit here would be where the floor meets. But that means we'll still need to get access to the floor underneath so we can put the trap in. You still get a 7 or 8 centimetre step up. The other thing you want to consider with an upstand as well is we have a lip round the outside. You can see it all the way round. When that gets tiled, the tiles tile over that lip. So you have the lip sticking up like this and the tiles going over it like so. Very, very easy to do. That is the one good thing about them actually. They are bulletproof when it comes to any sort of water leaks in the shower enclosure, only if you've got a good tiler. One final thing on trays before we move on is you can get them in different colours, you can get them in different finishes. Like everything these days, if you've got a certain look or a certain feel that you want to go for in your bathroom or ensuite, shower trays are going to be there. The manufacturers already know that, and they are making products that are going to be able to meet your standards, your discerning requirements. Another thing that you can also think about, especially with more elderly people again, or people who aren't as mobile as gymnasts, you can get anti-slip patterning that goes onto showers, even down to the point where this square one that we've got in here has got slight dimpling on the shower tray floor, and that should try and arrest any slips. Be aware that you can get anti-slip, non-slip shower trays as well. And just to finish on shower wastes always need a nice good flow, so a drop away from them to the stack. That's sometimes why we need a easy plumb kit like so we've got the drop going off to the stack, but often we can find the drop that we need inside the floor space, and that's why low profile shower trays like these ones here will work on a space like that. Generally we want a 1 in 40 drop, that's what we call it. So for every 40 centimeters along, we have a drop of 1 centimeter. Just look at it like that, and that should work perfectly fine. Okay, so we've looked at shower trays. We know about heights, sizes, what they're made of, all the stuff. If we've missed anything out, comment below, very important. Also remember to hit the sub. Now, we're gonna look at shower enclosures. Now, this is one of the questions that Plumwell get quite a lot, glass screen sizes, okay? We're talking about the thickness of the screen. For instance, we've got an 8mm quadrant here. That means the glass thickness of the door and the side panels there is 8mm. We've got an 8mm just panel here, walk-in panel. So along there, that is an 8mm depth. Over here, we've got a joyous, beautiful sliding door, yeah? This one here is 4mm. So you look at that, but one thing I want you to see when it's on the 4mm, we'll come back to it actually, leave it. And then we've got a 6mm pivot door here. The difference is in thicknesses and all that sort of stuff. The thicker the glass tends to be obviously stronger, tougher, but it's got a bit more quality about it. Now you can get 10mm, but fortunately I haven't had to put a 10mm one up for this video. As a plumber, if the customer says, oh, I've got a 10mm screen, it's 1000 by 2400. I'm going to cry because you know it's going to weigh getting on for like 80 kilos. And they live on a 3rd floor flat or something like that. Wow, no way. But you'll notice here with the 4mm one, 4mm are going to be cheaper. That's another aspect you need to think about. The thicker the glass, the more expensive the product because there's more product. 4mm, I mean, this is like the thinnest you're going to get. But look, you can see the glass like really moves, really bows. You're going to find 4mm in properties that are more sort of landlord run, I'd say. That's probably the best way of putting it. Before we finish on glass as well, you're going to find now that nearly all manufacturers have a thing called Easy Clean, which means that when the water, it's almost like when you wax your car, the water hits the screen and it runs off straight away, but also it's a lot easier to clean. Personally, I find that over about a year or two, especially if you live in a hard water area, that's going to start getting beaten, if you know what I mean, by the water hardness, and you'll need to obviously clean your screen every so often. Most people and most installers go for 6 or 8mm because they've got a nice bit of strength without being really heavy, with 4mm being more budget and not quite as strong, and 10mm being really, really thick and strong, but difficult to get into position as well. So now let's go back over here and we're going to look at door types now. Come all the way, please, come all the way. So door types are directly related to the shower tray size that you've chosen because you've already thought about the room and all the rest of it. What we've got here is a central quadrant or a quadrant door. This is a 2-door quadrant as well, which means we can pull it apart and open like so, but you can get single door quadrants, which personally I prefer because there's less to kind of go wrong on them. They're kind of easier to fit as well. Although the main door is obviously heavier, the one thing about single door quadrants is you tend to have a smaller opening. So if you are worried about the opening size, yeah, that's something you might want to consider. As you can see here, on this particular one here, we've got a nice magnetic strip down the middle there that holds that in position when they're shut, so they just draw together nicely. If we go around on the inside, we've got 2 little handles on here as well, 2 little knobs, that means you can open it easily from the inside as well. I'm just going to very gently open this now. So look, here we go. So look, and then we open it up, and that is your entrance. So look, that is the width, okay, of your, so you're going to exit sideways effectively. I mean, I really like quadrants. I don't like fitting them so much. They're a bit of a nightmare to fit, and after all the years that I've done this job, I've fitted like hundreds of these. I've fitted hundreds of every type of shower screen, okay? But you still have to read the instructions. In fact, I should have said this at the start of the video. Whatever you do, if you're going to fit this sort of stuff yourself, once you've chosen it, read the instructions. Read them again and again and again and again. Quadrant doors, the great thing about them, like I said, quadrant showers is they allow a room to flow a little bit more, and I'll be showing you again at my own house how we used a quadrant shower to make a small space work. So that's your quadrant, okay? That's your quadrant door there. We're just going to ignore that for a minute because that's not a door. Then you've got your sliding door. Sliding doors are good. They've got a nice... You know, we've got something that's quite easy. There's not a lot that can go wrong on sliding doors. All of them are very easy to adjust as well. Very similar to the quadrant actually. You'll always find that the rollers on top of quadrant doors and on sliding shower doors will be adjustable. And you'll find that on the pivot door as well. You always get minor adjustments of about 10 mil. So if the door is leaning that way, or it doesn't quite meet when it shuts like so, you can then change that and adjust that so it's all in. I do like sliding doors, to be honest, because they are very, very easy to fit. They don't really go wrong very much. There's less on them to go wrong than a quadrant, and it was a reasonably good film. Before we go to pivot doors, I just want to show you, because this isn't quite a door. Walk-in screens, obviously not a door. There's no door going on here. But the great thing about walk-in screens is they're super simple to fit. All you need to do is put on a profile like this on the back. You screw that to the wall. We've got some holes in there. You'd silicone that to the wall, and then you'll push in your screen to fit into that. And then you have a bar over the top like so that holds that back to your wall, but also grips this on here and make sure that doesn't move. The bars always come longer, but imagine you've got a shower tray that's 800 mil wide. You're going to want to buy a bar that is 800 mil wide. The thing is, they come longer so they can make one product for multiple size shower trays. So when you are buying your bar, make sure that it is going to bridge the width of the space that you're trying to shower in when you're putting that enclosure up. And also, I've seen it happen before, people not putting the bar in because they just think there's no point in doing it, or they're going to silicone it round here and it's going to be all right. If the manufacturer says you should put a bar in, guess what? Put a bar in. Now we're going to look at the last door, and this is last. The pivot door is last because I want to use the pivot door that we've got here to actually show about measuring up and the tolerances that we can have when it comes to installing a shower enclosure. So a pivot door just pivots open like so, okay, and that is it. The pivot doors open like that. Usually have a magnetic seal down here. We've got a knob on the inside so you can pull it closed. Nice big opening when you open them up. One thing I just want to say is when it comes to pivot doors, sliding doors, we can have a thing called universal handing. What that means is if I want to buy this product here and I want this one here, I don't have to worry about buying a completely new product if I want the handle to be on this side. It can just be sent over into a different configuration and then you've got it. It's in the same product. Same with the sliding door here. If I wanted this to open from this side and move that way, that will be a possibility with that. Just make sure when you're looking at the listing and choosing, it's got universal handing on it and it should be fine. But I'm pretty sure 99% of shower screens with sliding doors or pivot doors have that built into them anyway. So now we're going to look at just some of the minor things that you need to think about when it comes to installing these, fitting them, and the first bit we're going to do is tolerance. Something everyone should have a little bit more of these days. Every house is not built completely square. Sometimes we'll have a wall that's falling out backwards that way, or it's coming in at the top, and we need to figure out whether our shower is going to be able to be fitted into that or not. Firstly, I'm just going to get my spirit level, wherever that is. So most shower manufacturers will state that there's a tolerance when it comes to the distance that the wall is out by, or how far away it is if you've got something that's in the way. I mean, this is quite a difficult one for me to kind of explain for you, but we'll go on the most common problem with tolerance, which is the fact that the wall is not level. So if you've got a wall like we've got here that is actually, this should be level, this one. Actually, it's not level. What we usually do to find out the tolerance of something, how much tolerance we need, we'll put that so it is level, like it is there, and then we'll measure. So for instance, we've got this here, so that's about level there, and I can go down here with my tape measure, and know that I'm going to need something that can deal with a tolerance of about 9mm. But I want to describe for you how they build the tolerance, that redundancy, into a shower screen, and that's why I wanted to use this one here. So if you look, getting nice and tight on this, have a good gander. This panel goes all the way in like that. Look how much tolerance we've got there. Then if I pull it out at the top, say it was out by like that much. Look, so we could have a wall that was out by that much. You see that? I mean, let's hope that we haven't got builders that do a bad job as that, but that is going to be able to take that tolerance there. We also have the same thing on this side here, exactly the same thing. That's built into that side there on that corner, and you'll get the same on every type of shower. Like this one here, you should be able to pull that out. Look at the tolerance on this. So look, we're pulling that out by loads. I mean, it's come out by, wow, we've probably got another 40 or 50 mil, because that happens on this side, but also have a look, happens down here as well. So we've got a huge amount of tolerance, redundancy built into that. Another thing is we also have redundancy built into the arms on these, because they actually recess back about 1 inch into the panel there. And there's just a couple of little screws at the top that you'll do up, and then that makes it so it's in the right position. So you've got a good amount of redundancy there as well. The good thing about that is that when you come to install it, you don't have to cut that down to the millimetre to get it exactly right. You can cut it within a tolerance. When it comes to frameless shower screens like this one here, you're going to look at this and go, well, look, there's no outer bit. There's not two pieces here like there is with the sliding door or the corner one that we've got over there. The thing is, the tolerance for these is actually built in by how far you push this glass panel into this retainer here. Look how deep that is, yeah? And that is the amount of redundancy we get on that, the amount of tolerance we get on that as well. And then when you lock it in, you just lock it in by pushing in the small rubber seal, and that will lock that whole piece in when you're installing it. And while we're on that as well, I just want to talk to you a bit about Easy Fit, because we used to have showers where you had to screw everything in end on. In fact, I think we have to do that on here. So yeah, you've got screws going end on into that. But companies like Coram have kind of come up with this Easy Fit technology, which means that this particular one here, this is a Coram shower screen we've got here. When we put this together, it just clips in. Easy Fit is becoming a lot more popular now. It's less screws, more putting stuff together. The one slight downside of Easy Fit is sometimes you'll find that once you've pushed something together, it's quite difficult to get it apart again. So make sure you get your measurements right before you do that. Measurements. So we've got a square shower here, okay? When you buy a shower screen, it is going to relate to the size of the shower tray. So we've got one with an upstand here. So the screen is going to actually sit inside that upstand. So make sure when you're measuring up your shower tray and you're buying your screen that it is for that shower tray and will fit on it in the proper way. It's the right size. You don't get that problem so much with low profile shower trays like this, because, I mean, for instance, this one here, they just sit on top. And when it comes to sealing up and fixing it to the shower tray itself, usually we do it with silicone, and usually we do that on the outside, not on the inside. People sometimes just think, well, I might as well do both sides when it comes to siliconing up. Maybe I'll cover that in another video one day on Plum World, all right? Finally, if we step back and have a look at these different beasts here, you can get loads of different finishes. You've got a lovely black frameless one over there. And very quickly talking about frameless. People prefer frameless sometimes because they look a little bit sort of, there's less frame, there's more glass. They allow a little bit more light in. There's less nooks and crannies for you to get, you know, mold and bits and pieces like that in there. But as you can see, we've got a black one there. We've got a kind of brushed silver one on here. We've got standard chrome over there. But believe me, there's almost every type of colour now when it comes to, say, black, silver, coppery sort of gold colours, even anthracite, all that sort of stuff's coming through now. So there's lots of colours, lots of finishes for you to choose from to reach the aesthetic appeal that you want in your bathroom. So there we go. Hopefully this video has helped you out in thinking, if you've come here not knowing what is going on, you've now learned that we've got different types of shower tray, quadrants. You now know about rectangular ones. You now know about what they're made of, what the upstands are, whether we've got a low profile one, what are they, what a quadrant shower screen is, what a standard shower screen is, a slider and a little pivot. I was going to talk about corner opening ones, but they're pretty difficult to fit. and they're very similar to a quadrant, and usually I'd steer my customer going down towards a quadrant because they just flow better in the room than a standard square. The one thing about quadrants is they're slightly smaller inside. That's about it. Right then, so behind this door is my ensuite, and hopefully you're going to see why I chose to install a quadrant and why that's helped me on this ensuite job. Let's have a look. So, oh baby, look at that. So firstly, just imagine that down here we had a square shower tray in here. Can you imagine that? So the square would have come out to about there, and then if we step back a bit, imagine trying to get round through here to get to the loo, yeah, to get to the toilet. It's going to be really difficult with this vanity unit here. That was the great thing about having a quadrant shower like this, meant that we could get that sweep, so it allows you to flow round and do whatever you need to do here. So another thing about this particular beast is the fact that it is a single door quadrant. As you can see, what that means is we've only got one door, single door, but it swings out and you get a gap of about this much. Now, like I said earlier on in the video, you need to look at opening sizes because you might have a shower that's 800 wide, but the width of the door opening is something you need to think about. This one's been in for about 5 years, still working okay. Probably needs a little bit of elbow grease to clear it up a little bit. That's what I've got to do. It's my job. All right, my wife's holding the camera. So there you go. That's my ensuite, all right? Lovely, isn't it? Back to the studio. So I hope you've enjoyed everything that you've learnt today. You came here shower layman's, and now you are like shower knowledge people. Yeah, there we go. Get a sticker, put it on your top, shower knowledge person. If you liked today's video, please comment below. Please hit the like as well. If you think we've missed anything out, tell us in the comments below. If you want to check out any of the showers that you can see here at the time of recording, go to the Plum World website. There's links to that below as well, and I'll see you in the next Plum World video. Thanks to you very much for watching. If one of these showers worked, I'd get in it now and have a shower. See you soon. Goodbye. Lucky you.